And we are back again. It's your friendly neighborhood film watchers. It is Frankly Football. And as you may see, we have an esteemed guest with us today. Great friend of the show. Great friend of the show. The wonderful Jay Tuck in the building. How are you doing tonight, Tuck?
Hey man, appreciate the introduction, man. What's going on, my guys, man? Thanks for having me on, man. It's been a while, man, but things is good, man. Cowboys is winning. Life's good. I got no complaints going on right now.
That's right, man. Cowboys is
I
winning.
see you out here in these. Yeah, yeah, man. I see Tuck out in these streets out here collecting prize out in these streets. He made me feel good.
Hey,
He made me stroke my beard like
hey,
I was enjoying and watching him. Making people give up what you can't put money on. Your pride is beautiful, man. I love that, man.
hey, man. That's what I don't want your money. I want your pride, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like
Hey, man.
how I kind of made my name in this whole, Cowboys community before the content, man. It's like I was always front line for my team and I always will be, you know what I'm saying? So that's never going to change. So I see people calling out Cowboys content creators. I'm like, all right, what's up? You know what I'm saying? I'm 10 toes down. What we betting? They ain't talking about money. Like, nah, I don't want that. I don't want and you see how that moonwalk started. Well, I can't really be caught.
Right.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I love the fact. I love the fact, man, that you just call it like you see it, and that's consistently across the board in all your content. If everybody's looking for Jay Tuck, man, he ain't hard. He outside. He ain't hard to find. I love that. I love that,
man. And I think that's the most important piece, about what we all do in this content community. Is like we're uncompromised. You know what I'm saying? We just call it from a fan perspective, but we put in the work, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I love the most about it and what makes it so special. It's like, me and B was just talking a second ago about draft content. Like draft content takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, but our love for this team makes you want to dig deep into 6 or 7 rounds and try to find that jewel to fix whatever that problem was. Man, I remember last year, as soon as that 49ers game was over, I rolled up my sleeve and I got to work. Like, no, I want this. I want an offensive lineman. I want this. I want that, man. But it all comes down to the passion for this star that we all represent and love, man.
Without question.
Sure enough, man. Sure enough.
So run with it, B. Run with it. We got this is the third game of the I guess quote unquote we call the stretch run before we get into playoff mode. So, we had a chance to discuss back and forth. Yesterday or Sunday was the gritty win, that everybody else would have gotten. If the Eagles played and won by a point, oh, what a gritty win. Kansas City plays and wins this game. Oh, they're so tough and resilient. And, the Cowboys do it. Oh, man, they played down to the competition. And I was like, listen. And Vach said this on his show this week. Matter of fact, I think he said today, go ahead and embrace being the villain. Embrace being that, and I say it, always be that arrogant, winning Cowboy fan, because no matter how it turns out, they're going to blame you anyway. They want to see you fall. They want you to be the heel. So go ahead and embrace it, because right now, that's where we're at. There's no easy way this thing works out. Either we win the Super Bowl and they can't stand us, or we lose in the NFC Conference Championship game and they talk trash about the whole entire season. So embrace every win, enjoy the ride. And so what did you see yourself on Sunday, Brandon? Because I already know who you're going to blame out the gate. I already know. So we got to say it here on Frankly Football. And I'm gonna let Brandon tell you for everything that happens bad in life is only one thing that can happen. So I'm gonna let you run with it. Go ahead, B. Handle it.
I am not a very forgiving person.
All right.
I hold grudges. Kellen did it. That is my slogan for all of the mishaps, all of the negative happenings that have occurred on offense this season. Kellen did it. It's Kellen's fault. You
right.
Tuck, Chris, both of y'all have kids. if your child has seen something and they don't want them to get in trouble, they may point the finger and say, so and so did it.
Right.
Well, in this
Right.
case, Kellen did it. Kellen has to fight his own imperfection, fight the urge to do something wrong, go against himself every single offensive drive. And
Mm.
the thing that he has to fight against is his urge to throw the ball every single time. And we saw that in Sunday's outing where Dak Prescott threw the ball, I believe, 39 times. So
Yeah. He threw it way more than he had to on a cover two Tampa 2 defense.
Right.
Yeah.
Situations like this, we have to give Kellen the smoke that he is due. The slogan or the saying, give people the credit that they're due. We have to give Kellen the smoke that he is due. Because not just in the play calling. There were many situations here where you just gotta, look at the screen and scratch your head. One of those situations was in the 4th and goal situation where they didn't just take the points. It just make my stomach hurt, make me feel uneasy.
A little bubbly.
Yeah. Now, of course, I'm happy that we got the win. If you got to see that last drive when they were mic'd up, when Dak just like, yeah, we gonna win this. When there's zero doubt in his mind, I love that my quarterback feels that when I call myself the Thanos of the Dallas Cowboys YouTube universe. Thanos had zero doubt in his mind that he was going to succeed. When my quarterback feels like that, I love it.
Right.
But he has to compete against the imperfection of his OC every single game, and I hate it. Go ahead, Tuck.
Go and get it. Go and get it, Tuck. Tell me how you feel.
Yeah, I'm with you, B, man. Because when I dropped the video, man, this summer, trying to figure out what the hell Kellen Moore's offense was, when I kind of figured out the no identity offense, I had that same question. Like I tell people, man, I woke up at 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. Like, what is this? It's not the West Coast offense, right? So when you go back to what Kellen Moore's philosophy is, it's never about imposing his will. And that's the frustrating part, right? So I do the scouting report. We all do our scouting reports every week. Well, I sit back, well, hey, the Houston Texans are the worst run defense in the NFL. They've been allowing 169 yards per average per game on the ground. Simple. Zeke Pollard, it's easy money. Let's get up out of here, right? And of course, what does Kellen do? He come out, utilizes the run in the very first drive, right? But then once it kind of stalls a little bit, he just loses focus. His focus gets cloudy, and he gets away from what has gotten us there. And I felt like during that Cooper Rush time, maybe that was going to be the moment to click that, hey, you don't have to be all fancy and creative when it comes to offensive strategy. Just use your weapons. But for some reason, Kellen always has these foggy moments where it just doesn't make sense. And we're sitting back all watching on Sunday like, okay, Zeke is going off, Pollard's going off. Why isn't he getting the ball? And my biggest frustration, y'all, with Kellen Moore is what the Houston Texans was doing. This has been our Achilles heel since last year versus the Denver Broncos when we kind of found out, right? They were kind of disguising their front, stacking the box, and dropping off in the soft zones. Okay, you had a whole damn year to figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really simple. How do you combat that, right? You do RPOs, you do screens, you do draws, right? Because if I'm showing I'm coming and I'm dropping back, but all of a sudden you hand that ball off to 21 or Tony Pollard, now I got to come back forward. I'm already on my heels, right? But if you're just going to sit back and just toss the ball around 30 times, 40 times, it plays right into the defense. And so that's my biggest frustration when it comes to Kellen Moore is you've seen this numerous times, but for some reason, you just can't make this adjustment. And if you really want to be a pass-heavy offense, okay, let's be the best show on turf. You should have kept Amari Cooper. If that's what the Cowboys really wants to be, is air attack, right? And we're going to throw and air things out. When you keep your strength as a strength, you don't diminish that. So that's my frustration when it comes to Cowboys and Kellen Moore. And I think he's the biggest obstacle in our way. I feel like we can be sitting in the playoffs, playing against the Vikings or Seattle and just be like, why? You know what I'm saying? We know it's going to be a reverse. We know it's going to be some kind of screen. We know it's going to be an end around. It's the same old problematic for the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm gonna kind of piggyback off Tuck what he said. I mean, you know, as soon as it was happening and I was out and about and I was hearing it, I was like, what's going on here? And I think he has like the I guess this new age thing of being passively aggressive. When he second quarter and ran it like 12 times straight, he just said, I'm just gonna run it because they're supposed to be so bad at it. But if you know that they're bad at run defense, then you put in situations where you can get the best advantage on, best advantage with running the ball. And like you said, Tuck, running draws or doing things of that nature. But I just think when they started dropping to these zones, batting the ball up in the air, making it difficult, I think that's what hurt him more than anything. I think the biggest loss we took this weekend was to my favorite right tackle on my football team going down. Don't look away. No, my favorite right tackle going down, which, I'm just wishing a speedy, healthy recovery for him to get back. And we kind of talked about a little bit about, his payday. And we'll probably have to talk about that off air because I don't want to talk about anything about Terrence Steele until I know he's back 110%. But the way the team is situated now, even in that instance, they keep trying to put a square into a round hole and try to put Josh Ball on the field. And for the life of me, I still don't understand that. I can't get around seeing how poorly he played. This one gets me. You see him every day, right? How he's out there just getting his ass whipped, Now you say, okay, we gave Terrence a hard time. Man, Terrence is looking terrible out here. But then we realized, well, he's trying to block the most dominant defensive player in the league. He's supposed to look like that, but he's trying to hold his own. But when you start getting your ass whipped by second and third string guys and they fighting to get a chance to go up against you, there's something wrong here. So my biggest knock on Kellen, and I'm gonna put this on Kellen, Josh Ball isn't good at pass. Josh Ball just isn't a good offensive lineman. So if you know he's not a good offensive lineman and he's a turnstile, why the hell would you even try to do pass plays with him? He damn near gave the game away on Sunday. We're just trying to pass on 2 possessions. He damn near gave the game away. And so my question, that's why I put it on Kellen did it. Hey, I know I'm hampered on the right side. I have a deficiency in the player that's there. So why the hell do I start calling pass plays? Let me get him to something he can probably do, hopefully. Run block. Come off. Because he sure as hell can't stop nobody from coming forward.
Yeah, I agree.
Talk
and
to
I
me,
think,
B.
I'm not sure if B's froze or not. She's frozen in thought.
Yeah. Yeah, he was locked out. Like, yeah. Go ahead, Tuck. What you thinking?
Now, I was going to say, because here's the frustrating part. Oh, go ahead.
So I appreciate them. I appreciate them for at least having the forward or the. I can appreciate that much, but yes, they have to admit at a certain point all experiment failed, because that's what it was. It was an outright failure. Terrence Steele developed over a certain point of time. Terrence Steele had 2 years where he was bad, but at the third year, he progressed. He climbed that hill. I was a Terrence Steele denouncer. I wanted him thrown off the highest mountain possible. But over a certain period of time, he progressed into the player that we see him as today. He was a success story, and I think that they're trying to emulate that success in Josh Ball, and they have to admit that they are not going to see that, at least not now, when it comes to late season and playoff time.
it's not there with Josh Ball, man. Everyone knows I'm a Florida State fan, so I seen Josh
Yes.
Ball out the gate. You know, like even though he had his
Oh,
issue
okay.
with the field, it just never was there. He went to Butler County and then he transferred over to Marshall. But it's like when we drafted him, I was like, you know, I was kind of over that draft. It was like, all right, we got Micah. You know what I'm saying? I need to get up out of here. You know what I'm saying? But it was like,
Okay.
yeah, I was like done. But we got, you know what I'm saying, we got Josh Ball, and I just never saw the potential with him. Now, when it comes to Terrence Steele, I think the thing that really helped Terrence is that at the end of the day, we still had an insurance policy with Lyle. You know what I'm saying? So if that crapped out, we still had that cushion. But if you're rolling out there Josh Ball at this stage of the season, in this game, you know what I'm saying, with everything on the line, it could be costly because, like y'all said, he borderline just almost cost us that game. And you can't go out there with this kid. And where I'm frustrated is like, all right, why does Josh Ball get this long leash and we've seen absolutely nothing, no upside potential, but then Ridgeway got dropped in on practice squad so quick? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I just don't understand the Cowboys mentality when it comes to Josh Ball. Maybe it's a depth thing, but you could go with Alex with Collins or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You can go with Collins.
Yeah.
Other Collins kid, like he at least in preseason showed more upside than Josh Ball. Josh Ball's been with his third string, fourth string. I have never sit back and saw, man, Josh Ball put a good series together. It just hasn't happened. That was from Oxnard last year, this year, preseason, and then what we saw on Sunday. So you can't put him out there because the one thing we cannot have happen is four get nicked up and then everything goes away. So
There you go. There you
Lucha
go.
Cooper Rush,
There you
I
go.
love it, but I'm not doing that again. So it's like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I've
Right,
seen that movie
right.
already. I've
Yeah.
seen that movie.
Yeah.
I ain't doing that movie. No more.
I think, and we'll talk about it because I think we pretty much microcosm the game against the Texans. You know, a little bit, way too much Kellen and going forward. And now my big issue is going forward is putting your best five on the field. So my feeling is my best five left to right going in this forward. And it just made me just sit back and say, wow, how fragile do I think this guy is? I think my best five is Tyler Smith, my main man, Tyler Biotish, Connor McGovern, and Zach Martin at right tackle. And I use Jason Peters as my break glass if somebody goes down to left tackle, go down and tackle guy. Because Connor McGovern, you know, truth be told, has progressed enough. He has always been a right guard in waiting, right? Or just a swing guard. Zach Martin goes down, fine. But he's played left guard this year. He hasn't been stellar. He's been adequate. He's been totally adequate. So because my tackles are so important to me, left and right, my break glass guy, because he showed me he can do it because he's such a professional, is Jason Peters. And I need Tyron Smith really for this next 6 to 7 games, 7 to 8 game stretch. I'm trying to get to the. This is going to be my best chance for me to get to my goal, which is the NFC Championship. Super Bowl is just icing on the cake, but I got to get this NFC Championship thing out the way. So he's been on the bench training. He's been with Britt. He don't need a whole bunch of time to ramp up. He's had it. Let me go with Tyron Smith. Let me go with Tyler. Kick Tyler inside. Tyler Biotis is doing his thing. Probably the most improved offensive lineman on this team this year. Keep McGovern on the field, and then move Zach Martin out the right tackle. Because I think that's what and that's what championship teams do. I know Zach doesn't want to play right tackle, but I'm in a championship run. That's what I need him to do, because I don't think Jason Peters at right tackle, which he's not familiar with, but if I got to use him there, he was okay Sunday. But I need a guy who I expect is going, who's just quote unquote my best offensive lineman on the team out there, and I push him out the right tackle. What you think of, Brandon? Go ahead. What y'all think, fellas?
It's interesting. To say the least, is interesting because I know that Jason Peters can play tackle and do it well. Left tackle is harder than right tackle. I am not even sold on Connor McGovern being a decent guard because he was the worst guard. He was the worst offensive lineman on the team for multiple weeks this season. That was even with rookie Tyler Smith.
Okay.
Connor McGovern was the worst offensive lineman for multiple weeks this year.
I just think he was playing out of position because he's only a right guard.
Yeah, he played.
Right.
Back to what last year versus team, he played right guard when Zach was out with COVID, right? So I feel like that was one of the best. And people have to understand it makes a difference. Like it does. So I see your point. If you can go in the locker room, Chris, and talk Zach Martin out the right tackle, I'm all for it.
Man, I'll beg him, man. I'll beg him. I'll babysit his kids. I'll wash his car. I'll run errands for him. I just need him for a 6-7 game stretch, man, to play right, because the right side of our offensive line has been absolutely dominant in the run game. So for us to protect what we're trying to do, we got to be able to still be able to run right. And I think Connor McGovern falls right in the suit and line with Zach Martin playing that right side. And then Tyron gets his way to continue to be, the mini demigod, because he's no longer a demigod. He's a mini demigod. Right. And he still gets to put Tyler Smith back inside where he is an absolute monster at left guard, the tape we've seen. And so I think that gets us to the point we keep Kellen from just messing this up by putting our best five on the field. That's our best five. And then if all fails, crack the glass and put Jason Peters out there, which I think, honestly, as much as we hate to give Stephen Jones credit, that Joker's been masterful in his pickups this year in free agency, man. And it pains me. It pains me to say that. I mean, I hate giving that dude credit. But, man, the way the guys he's picked and even the way he dealt with this wide receiver thing, even though I wanted him to give up picks to go get Jerry Jeudy, because that's the only guy I really wanted was Jerry Jeudy.
Right. I heard Jeudy. I was like, man, get what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
Do what you got to do. Go do what you got to do. But I think going again back to what they were seeing inside the building, they knew CD could progress to being who he is right now, performing in that number one role. But right now, your biggest problem on both sides of the ball, because you got to figure that one out too, is with your offensive line, who you run out there. My question to you guys, what do you do with your defensive tackle situation over the next 4 games? What do you do?
That's even trickier because we lost to Hankins, right? So I think we get a heavy dose of Bohanna. You're gonna have Watkins.
Yes.
Our little Osa can play a little bit inside as well. But see, this one kind of hurts with getting rid of Ridgeway so damn quickly. You know what I'm saying? I like that kid, man. And he's actually playing well out there in Washington. So, we're getting kind of thin. And that's the frustrating part because, not only the defensive tackle position, but the corner position got me, mad nervous a little bit as well. So we're getting thin, depth-wise. And so the Cowboys are going to have to get creative. Now, going back to the offensive line, a lot of people, and I kind of tweeted this, I didn't think about it, it's like, do you have Tyler be your breakup in case of emergency? Because what they're kind of thinking is, okay, you go with Tyron, Connor, Tyler Biadasz, Zach Martin, and then you have Peters at right tackle, and then kind of let, Tyler be your swing in case something happens. Your left tackle in case something happens with Tyron, or your left guard. Because what they're saying is, if you start what people are thinking is the best 5, right? With Tyron, Tyler, Zach, and Peters, and one of those guys gets nicked up, like you got to play music. And if Tyler gets nicked up, then you lose your tackles. You know what I'm saying? It's pretty much Josh Ball or bust, right? So, it's going to be interesting. Hear what Mike McCarthy said. Yeah, that's why I was like, damn, bro, that kind of makes sense, right? Because if you play guard, let's say, for instance, something unfortunately happens to Tyler Smith, right? Then you have to hold on for older Tyron Smith and older Jason Peters. You got to last all the way to the end of the season, right? So it's just like, it's a tricky situation. Me personally, though, I'm like scared money don't make money. Go with the best 5, and we'll just have to close our eyes and pray for the best. But it's going to be an interesting topic. But Mike McCarthy came out and said it's going to be a rotation of Peters and Ball. It better not be no damn rotation, bro. I don't see.
I mean, if he said it's going to be a rotation, then that's how Mike is going to run with it. But my problem with rotating a guy who can't play, that eventually he's going to. I don't want him on the field. Right. I don't want him out there with these defensive ends that the Jaguars are bringing out there.
Right.
You got the first pick in the draft. Trayvon Walker is not. He ain't no scrub, man. Right. That dude. He's sitting at home right now talking about barbecue chicken. Like Shaq, he ready to go to work. So my problem is this game. Because of the way the Eagles have played and they haven't faltered yet. You want to make sure that you put everything in place going forward, that I win out so I can stay where I'm at. You fumble right now. You put yourself in a parity in a place that you want to be, and you're fighting to the very end. You got to get these wins when you can get them. So go put my best proven 5 out there and go forward. Right. I like Tyler Smith inside. I like Connor McGovern just at right guard. I'm on tape. Right. I'm out here in the universe forever saying that Connor McGovern is a right guard. He's impersonating a swing guard, but he's basically a right guard. And this thing about what I want to do, what I like to do. Listen, I like to sit at home and eat chips and salsa all day, but I got a business to run. So I got to go do what I got to go do. So I need Zach Martin to go to right tackle. I need him to go there and keep Jason Peters just in waiting. Okay, hey, 1 or 2 snaps here. Hey, if something happens on the left side, I know he can play left side. The experiment playing guard, okay, that was kind of kooky. But I need him playing tackle. And if he's my swing guy, then I'm better. I'm better off than I am with Josh Ball touching the field at all. I can't see him touch the field at all.
Yeah, you gotta get him out.
I mean, I don't even want him to warm up.
Put that man.
I don't even want him
or something.
Yeah, I don't even want that man to warm up. Do nothing. Give it to me, B.
So now that I'm thinking a bit about the Connor McGovern thing, having him inside on Tyler Smith in the event of a Tyron Smith injury, because we got to think about that, right? Yes, that would be less advantageous than having him inside against like Zach Martin or Jason Peters. So I'm kind of inclined to agree with you there, So yes, it may be better to have him on the right side in that situation. So the more that you say it, the more I agree with you. Because the Tyler Smith and Connor McGovern combo, you can kind of see the weaknesses of it that we have had at certain points this season, especially when we played some of those stronger interior linemen. And when you see Philly and they got Jordan Davis on the inside, big, strong, fast, deadly combination. And that's not who you may want to put out if you happen to face them in the postseason, or against San Francisco guys if you happen to face them in the postseason. You got a lot of strong defensive interiors that you don't want to even have the possibility of exposing that combination to. So yes, when I have to think about that, I'm just coming on, Chris.
So now, bro, I didn't catch the last part. You broke up on me at the end. B, what you say?
I said I understand where you're coming from with that one. The combination of Tyler Smith and Connor McGovern.
Yeah, no doubt. So if we're talking about putting the best people out there, so we said where we're looking at the offensive line. What do you think about Ty, man? How you feel about this signing Ty? Talk to me, Tuck. What you think?
I think it was a good signing, man. I kind of was joking on Twitter, like, back in the day, you just go on a date, is to go out and have a good old time, but you realize, man, this person you on a date with ain't about nothing, right? So as soon as you leave the restaurant, you might have someone else to call. That's exactly what Jerry Jones did, man. I feel like they won and Don OBJ and said, man, he ain't talking about playing until playoffs, man. He ain't talking about nothing, man. T.Y. on the phone. So they had this other thing in the stash. And I think, it really fits what the Cowboys are trying to do. He came in, he worked out. But I'm thinking about, T.Y. from the impact, not just on the field, but off the field. Now you get a guy who's been the guy, Pro Bowler, being another mentor to CeeDee Lamb, teach him how to handle this Dallas and be a number one wide receiver. We saw Malik Hooker tweet about it. He's excited. And I think he's going to give us the boost, man. If he's even a shell of himself, what he was last year before the injuries, or even go back to 2020, is exactly what we need. He's a guy that can stretch the field, reliable, but also can play inside slot as well. And I think the most important piece is mental aspect, right? I think that's where you're kind of seeing the disconnects with Dak Prescott right now is he's just used to having guys who know where to be. Like it's different. Amari Cooper is a very cerebral guy. Like he knows his spots, gets to his spot. So Dak trusts that. I feel like once you add T.Y. back, he's going to be able to get things flying where like, all right, Dak trusts him. He's going to be where he needs to be. So those drag routes, slant route, some of those things going up the seam, and that's going to open the offense, not only for TD, but also for Gallup. So I think it was a good sneaky, addition. My question is, who's going to be on the out? Like, what's going to happen with Jalen Tolbert? I mean, hell, James Washington got one pass his way, he dropped it, and that's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be interesting to see how the Cowboys handle this wide receiver core. But like I said on Twitter, if you tell me I get CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, T.Y. Hilton, and Noah Brown, that's more than enough. You know what I'm saying? That's more than enough, as far as the wide receiver core. I think we'll be perfectly fine. So, yeah, good pickup. I'm excited to see him in this offense.
Forgive me for, reserving my excitement until a later date. T.Y. Hilton, since 2018, has been an often injured receiver. Since 2008, T.Y. Hilton has missed 2 games, 6 games, 1 game, and then 6 games again. So he has to show me that he can be available on the field. The best ability is availability. It's cool that he's going to be one of those guys that can put his arm around the receivers.
We can't say that because we were on and Don OBJ, who he ain't played consistent games since 2018 as well. What I'm saying? He's coming off of 2 ACL. So yeah, I get what you're saying, but it's just a short time frame, right? If this was an addition for an entire season, But here's I've been trying to tell Cowboys fans. People said the same thing about Malik Hooker. Malik Hooker can't stay healthy. He can't stay healthy. Horrible.
When you're right, you're right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So, knock on wood, hopefully everything's okay. I think it's going to be okay. But, yeah, you got to bring up his injuries. But we're talking 6 games, 5 games. Hell, you know what I'm saying? So it's like.
We got 7 games, yo.
Bad, 7
Stop
games.
all that. Got 7 games. 7 games, and I'm going to the Sizzler. I'm telling y'all, got bail money. I'm ready. But I mean, and I understand what you're saying, Brandon. You kind of want to reserve how I feel about how overjoyed because we had a whole big long, trying. We've been in the DMs. We've been hollering at on Instagram about Odell. But I think I go back to what I said about with Michael Gallup. I always said this is kind of like when Michael Gallup's going to get back to being Michael Gallup. Because I think he's had enough time away from the injury or getting close to that point. I think Michael Gallup's going to go back to being MG13 next year. But I think we start seeing glimpses of that in the next 7 games. He starts getting, more explosive. But I think we still don't have that. Yeah, still don't think we have that down the field, stretch the field component. And I think that's why we were waiting on James Washington. And I think that's what T.Y. does. He gives us that stretch the field component that we do not have. We do not have that guy who stretches the field like that. And I think that's some of the things that will help this no identity offense. I love that. That's going to be my new hashtag, the no ID offense, to add a wrinkle to it. Yeah.
And it's do you think that the reaction to James Washington's no catch on the field had something to do with them calling T.Y. so quickly?
Nah, I think they already had this in mind. I think they already had
this in mind. There you go. Yeah. They go ahead, Jay. You got it. You spot on. Go with it.
I say because the way that they were already courting OBJ, they were already had their mindset on they were wanting another wide receiver to come in James Washington or not. I feel like James Washington is more just about his timetable, but I feel like T.Y. Hilton was just a case of emergency since OBJ didn't work out. So
that's what I'm saying, man. That's why I don't want to give him credit, but he's been masterful with it. Steven has been incredibly sneaky good this year with, okay, I've had James Washington in the tuck the whole time. Other guys came along that I didn't think were going to be, because we didn't think Ferguson or Hendershot would come out and be, oh, okay, we got this 3 tight end set. We can hide this, do just certain things with it. They finally unleashed Tony like we've been crying for the last 2 years. So I think that they bought him time.
3 years.
Yeah.
3 years. In the final
okay, 3 for 3 years. Yeah. And so I think they bought themselves enough time. So you're absolutely right. Okay, James Washington can play. Okay, we need to go get another guy. So I think in that instance that makes sense with that. So we looked at the offensive line, the plug and play there, the addition of what we think we should go with it. We see the addition of Ty, how that goes, and it moves us towards getting to the game 7. What do you do with your secondary? How do you feel, Chuck? Now watch this, Chuck. These are the kind of reactions I like to get from Brandon. How you feel about my man, Boss Man Fat, this weekend? He's our guy now.
That is deceased. For one thing,
stop doing that. That is that man's thing. That's that man's name.
I call him
Boss Man Fat is deceased. Kelvin Joseph, on the other hand, I'm satisfied with his first. Well, not his first, but his stepping into a necessary role. He was challenged. You need to be challenged by a what is for Sunshine? A more highly touted quarterback prospect, because I mean Trevor Lawrence is still a prospect to a certain degree. He's only his second-year quarterback. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for him to be more challenged by the Jacksonville offense to a certain degree, and I hope that he comes out on top against said challenges.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. They got some weapons in Jacksonville. Christian Kirk isn't a slouch. I can't even think of all the guys that's on there. But I'm gonna get to know their names, because what's been happening with this Cowboys secondary these last couple of times, we've been getting guys getting people running to the waiver wires on fantasy for whichever wide receivers that we don't know who they are, and they play the Cowboys. And that week, they're going to be lights out. Right. So I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be a little bit of a challenge. I think first off, I don't look at Sunshine. I see Brandon likes to just call people. Brandon real disrespectful with people sometimes. He called people out their name. I'm forever gonna call Trevor Lawrence Sunshine. That's who he is. From Remember the Titans. That's Sunshine. He's gonna ever be Sunshine for me. And the guy's been that way since I seen him in college, man. So Trevor Lawrence is gonna come to play. He's gonna be in this building. We're gonna get Jacksonville's best shot. So I think it's gonna be a big test for Kelvin, for Trayvon, as well as our safety play a little bit against the Jacksonville team, because they like to throw the football and they like to get it out. So I want to see Kelvin continue to progress. You're right. Kelvin Joseph is alive. He is the guy. The former player known as Boss Man Fat no longer exists. I think he's playing a lot better. So I like the way he played this week. But I still don't know the guy who went for 10 catches, dang near 100 plus yards. I still don't know his name. Yeah, I guess my fantasy game is down because he had an amazing day. He had an amazing day on us. So I'm just worried how Kelvin's going to work this week. But at least he's kind of still in the area, and he's, and it's just, it doesn't look as bad as it did when Anthony Brown was out there. Do y'all agree or disagree?
I think it's just going to take a work in progress for Kelvin Joseph. Cowboys fans got to be patient, but I feel like, this week, and then we'll probably get them ramped up before the big showdown versus the Eagles. Now, the one thing I don't like with Kelvin Joseph is it's not his fault. It's more of a Dan Quinn thing. Way too much cushioning and way too much space, right? So they were just cherry picking him underneath. So it's like, I feel like Kelvin Joseph's strongest point is being physical at the line of scrimmage. And so you got to kind of give him that. But I feel like once he got beat deep, he gave up way too much boundary. And I think, Moore again was able to kind of push off a little bit. Like, you got to get him against the sideline and use the boundary as your third defender. But it's like, I feel like he's going to grow. Like, he's going to grow with the reps. And I feel like that big pass breakup that he got, in the fourth, that's momentum boost. Like, I feel like he just needs to stack those momentums on top of each other, kind of like he did in special teams, right? He kind of just made a name for himself from special teams, stacking plays. And so I feel like this week is going to be more important for him to stack some more good plays on it. And I feel like once we get to Philly, he'll be ready for that matchup versus Devontae Smith that everybody's been waiting for. So, we had no choice but to roll with Kelvin Joseph. We keep telling people, like, love him or hate him, he's all you got. So you better become a fan of him, because if he goes out, it gets dark. He's got to go with Nashawn Wright or God knows who. So.
Jesus, Lord have mercy.
Right, yeah,
So,
man. With Diggs,
I'm actually glad that you mentioned. I'm actually glad that you mentioned his amount of space that he provides in coverage right now, because his film as a prospect in Kentucky and when he played in LSU, he was an extremely physical corner. Even when he played against Kyle Pitts, he gave Kyle Pitts fits. Mm-hmm. So that was something that I really admired against him. Admired with him as a prospect. There we go. I couldn't get my words out.
Right.
So I think that could be a scheme they want, because they don't want him getting penalties. Who knows? But it could be a Quinnism. That when that term,
especially versus
and maybe they're prepping.
I thought you would want to get up on those no-name wide receivers and press to allow our defense to get pressure, but there was so much cushion. That's why they were able to kind of just sit back and cherry pick and take those easy throws. And we know what's going to happen, on Christmas Eve. You give that cushion, it's just going to be screen here, screen right, screen left. So
right. Yeah. That's they ain't trying to put it in the air long distance. They want to get it out of his hands quick. But going back to what you said, I think that was the one thing they did against Christian Watson. If you go back to the Green Bay game, they didn't press him. And matter of fact, the touchdown that they caught late, and when you go back and look at it, Watson caught the ball. He didn't get touched, and Malik Hooker was in trail tech. And I don't care how good of a free safety you are, if a guy gets a free release, there's nothing that a free safety anybody can do, because he's already at disadvantage, because that guy is speed and he's gone. So I think that is a Quinnism, and he doesn't like to press as much on these guys. And I think that's something they have to kind of get back to. I don't know if they're ready to go whip it out against, once we, after 10 or when we play Philly and going forward, hey, we're going to start pressing guys. But I think that is the best place to put guys, in press, and let them run and do what they think, because in press, it's more a benefit to you with the pass rush you have. Right. See, and I think once you get into those passing downs or those passing situations, if I can unleash my pass rush, press corners, I got guys who can run. Both of those guys can run. That's not one of the things they can't do. Diggs can run. Joseph can run. Hooker can run. So I think that's something that we may have to go back into, pressing guys at the line of scrimmage and going from there. Yeah, you're right. I like that mindset you had.
Right. That was the Nashawn Wright draft. That was the Kelvin Joseph draft, because they wanted big physical corners. It's like, all right, well, you got these big physical
Israel Mukuamu as well.
Yeah, Israel Mukuamu, but you've given up all this space, so that defeats the purpose. You could have got the guy from Florida State.
Oh man, look, we would not be experiencing.
He didn't reach
if we had Asante Samuel Jr. right now.
Trayvon Diggs.
Listen, man.
Yeah.
Man, listen. He get the stake didn't rise high enough on the height chart concerning the Cowboys when it came to him.
Yeah, we want big physical. All right, to play deep cover.
Hey,
all right.
Let's play Bell Tech. Let's play Bell Tech. That's what we're gonna do. All right. So we did the secondary. Go ahead, B.
Yeah. I know that Tuck has to roll out right about now. Tuck, is there anything else that you wanted to
No,
talk
man.
about?
Hey, thanks for having me on, guys, man. Like I said, as far as Cowboys Nation, man, don't let people start to discourage you from getting these victories. This is the first time since 1995 we put 10 wins back to back. Should be
Back to back.
playoff appearance if we win on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? So no, they want to discourage you. They want to get Cowboys fans talk us out of our moment. But hey, enjoy the journey. I know a lot of people I see online is like, man, I'm just waiting for the playoffs, man. Enjoy the journey, man. You can't simulate to the playoffs. Every team wants to do that, man. So enjoy what we're doing. I like the team we have right now, man. And I'm excited about what's the future for Dallas Cowboys. The main thing for me is to stay healthy, man. That's I was cringing, like damn, you had Terrence go down. You had Dorrance get nicked up a little bit. J-Ron goes down in warm-ups. I'm like, here we go, man, because there's a lot of football left. I'm kind of hating the 17 games. Let's wrap this up a little bit. So, this is really the opportunity for a lot of these younger guys to get some reps and step in because we're going to need the depth, especially in the playoffs. So, but hey, I appreciate y'all for having me.
Thanks for coming kicking with us, Tuck, man. Yes, plug your stuff, man.
Yeah. You guys can find me.
We know where to find you, but plug for people kicking with us.
Yeah, man. Y'all can find me on all social media platforms at JTuck151. That's Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. My YouTube channel is CFO Sportsman. Comment, like, subscribe. Appreciate all the support there. And then my merch store is CFOSportsTalk.com. But also, if you go to my YouTube channel, everything's listed below, man. So Christmas is coming up. Do some shopping. I ain't did no shopping yet, but so.
I can dig it.
All right, my guys. Appreciate y'all, man.
Appreciate you, bro. So you got, man, that was dope. So we got, give it to me.
So, we got Jacksonville coming up. Here's the thing. Have you know that we don't really have any screens this year?
We ain't have no what now?
Have you don't really this year? We don't really run any screens this year.
I mean, I think what you did in your masterful way in one of these couple weeks we weren't around, I think you went and found Kellen's playbook and ripped them all out of his playbook. There have been no screens, no wide receiver screens, no tunnel screens. No, backdoor screens, no front door screen. You've taken every essence of screen out of the playbook, and I think it helps out a lot because I don't think we haven't had those kind of wide receivers, but us not running screens.
Yeah, why do you think it helps out with us not running screens at all?
Because we're not a very good screen running football team since like 2017. I mean, one of Rain's longest touchdown passes is a screen pass to Ezekiel Elliott. I think it's like 83, 85 yards against Pittsburgh. So I don't think we're a very good screen running team. Which for the life of me, I'll man, my beautiful nursing student wife just keeps moving in and out the screen behind my head. But that I don't think we're really good at doing that. So I don't think it's something you need to add to the repertoire right now. I think right now we've got to get more cohesive, but getting the ball down the field and stretching the field. I think it's going to end up happening as we progress along the rest of the season. They're going to say, hey, they really don't throw the deep ball. I mean, they don't throw the deep ball at all. And I think that's why with the addition of James Washington, as this T.Y. Hilton gets geared up and is able to learn the playbook and do certain things, we need some non-routes. We need some guys who can go down the field and open up this offense to open up the middle of the field for the guys, for Schultz, for Hendershot. Now that Ferguson's hurt, I don't know if Ferguson is out for the rest of the season, but I definitely want to make sure that we utilize the middle of the field and be able to move CD around and get him in space. I think that's CD's most favorable adage. Yak lamb is what you definitely want to have. So doing screens,
absolutely.
doing screens just hasn't been our forte for a long time, especially underneath Kellen and his offense in his OC.
I can agree with you there. I can agree with you there. I think that we have personnel that leans toward the success of screens because if you just get the ball in CD's hands, if you get the ball in Tony's hands, and we already run a lot of three personnel sets with Schultz, Hendershot, and Ferguson. Guys who can block in a multitude of situations. Just big body guys who can punish, linebackers and smaller edges and guys with those shorts.
Mm-hmm.
That could be, situations that can, lead to success in different situations. But yes, if we don't have the other offensive personnel who can, lead to the success of the screen game, yeah, I can agree with you. But I think that you limit yourself when you don't have a large variety of plays, like the 9 routes and those and things like that, as well as the screens and other plays of that. Um, so that's why I asked that question. Well, when you don't have a large variety, do you think that can be limiting when we get into the tournament?
Oh, absolutely. But I also that goes back to, and I'm gonna act like I caught this, um, because Sky, our homie Big Skywalker Steel, has said for a long time that the route concepts that is used by our buddy Kellen Moore are very simplistic, and they don't lead to other things being played off of it when he does certain sets. When he puts he does a 3-to-1. He does a 3-by-1 concept. He doesn't open up the field for the other three wide receivers, and he makes it easier for the defense to guard them. I think we still have got to have a guy who can stretch. And Noah Brown has been a pleasant surprise. I mean, like a long time coming surprise. He's who he is, but he's not a guy I think Rain's gonna trust in a 3rd and 8. Hey, I'm gonna throw this. I'm expecting him to be a speed guy. I just think we're missing that element without Washington or T.Y. Hilton, and we were hoping to get from Odell, which, going back to how I felt about Michael Gallup, and I said it before, him not being healthy when he got hurt, why would I expect Odell to be even further along than Michael Gallup? It's just how I feel about it. So let's talk about this one real quick. I know I'm running late. Yeah, let's talk about this one. With the defensive line being, and I've got a really good friend of mine, my brother Rob Mead. Rob is one of the most pessimistic Cowboy fans in the world. He's waiting for the shoe to drop. He can't give him any credit for anything. And during the game when the Texans were running, he said, "Man, we can't stop the run for nothing." And I think, and we've talked about it with Knicks, our big friend Knicks, man. We want to keep it under 150 yards. So the question I have is, with the D line, what are you expecting with this rotation inside? What are you looking for with these guys inside? With Carlos Watkins, we haven't seen Quinn Bohanna in quite some time. Neville, as well as Osa. What are you looking for these 4 guys to do, man? Because we had to go get Hankins to get that big run plugger, and you want these next 4 games, especially in the next 2 out of the next 3. You know the Eagles gonna run, and hey, man, I've seen Derrick Henry in real life. That's a real big man to be running. So my question is, how you think that rotation is going to mix out inside for this team in the next couple
Well,
weeks?
I think that you're going to need to see a lot of Big Bo because he's going to have to be a space eater. Of course, you're going to need to see a variety of guys, a big rotation. But with Jonathan Hankins out, And they pulled him in mid-season specifically because they saw a problem. They saw a
Right.
problem and they hoped to fix it. So because he's out for maybe 4 weeks, maybe even that first playoff game, I hope not, but maybe we're gonna have to see a lot more Big Bo. But for
Okay.
some reason he's on somebody's list. He can't get off of it for some reason, but now they're gonna have to work with it, and injury may be a way for him to get on the field. But
Okay.
he this may not be the game for it because ETN is not A gap B gap type back. He's an outside and receiving type back. That's just the type of runner that he is. But
Okay.
as we get closer to playing Tennessee, as we play even Washington, that's when we may see more of Bohanna. And seeing what we have with him without Jonathan Hankins.
Okay. Well, I mean, I agree with you, man. I just I'm like any Cowboy fan when you talk about running or running the football, I'm worried because you earn the right to rush the passer, and I think as we go down the line and we start looking at some things like I hate draft needs. I kind of really did look past that one position. I was drafting that early, but that's something we'll talk about offline. But yeah, this is a big test for over the next what going till we get him back for these last 4 or 5 games. Um, Finding out, getting Bo back, him being able to play the snaps he needs. Shoot, I'm looking to even throw Chauncey Golson in there and moving and in certain situations and do because I've got to be. Nobody in the league is sitting back there patting the ball. Nobody is. The Giants got it out quick. The Texans was like, "Hey, get this ball out quick." Nobody's patting the ball because the Micah Parson effect. If we kind of people like, "Oh, he didn't get a sack against the worst offensive line." Them folks said, "We ain't letting them tee off. We are getting this ball out of our hands as fast as possible." But for the to get 2 back-to-back false starts in the final drive to push the Texans out of range for that long Hail Mary, man, just shows you how great it is and how much people fear this pass rush. So yeah, I'm worried about how we do against the run. Keeping it under 150. That's my mindset. If we can keep it under 150 yards a game, I'm golden. I am absolutely golden.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. I definitely agree with you. And just like I said, when Tuck was still on with us, I think that we have, at least 3 of our last 4 games are perfect barometers for us to test that because, we've got 3 very proficient running backs to test that weakness against. ETN's
Absolutely.
a very, 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 very great prospect. This is his first season healthy, but he's been good for at least half this season.
Gotcha.
Phillies has great running backs all across the board. They even have an MVP candidate, who's a great running back. Derrick Henry is Derrick Henry. And we'll see what happens on Washington. So
Right, absolutely.
there are plenty of tests that we can see how we can stand before we get to the tournament.
Gotcha. Before we get to the tournament.
Anything else that you wanted to talk about, brother?
Man, I'd be remiss, man, not to send prayers and condolences to Mike Leach and his family. We lost somebody, as football fans, as well as, football spectators, a guy who's probably the innovator for a lot of these great quarterbacks that we watch right now with his program. Leach, you don't get the spinoff, so you end up getting a Kyler Murray. You don't get a Patrick Mahomes. You don't get certain guys, man, out of that system that Mike Leach brought and as a football guy. And Just send out prayers, man, healing energy, man, and well wishes to the Leach family in the passing of Mike Leach. That's all I got,
Of
man.
course.
Outside of that, man,
Yes, sir.
great win. Let's keep the ball rolling, man. Haven't lost since Rain has been back. I'm loving this feeling. And man, just shout out to you and man and Tuck, man, for holding it down while I try to get my wife home from nursing school tonight. I appreciate it, man. She mad upstairs because
course.
like I gotta go. Tuck and Brandon are on. We taping, you know. So the wife gets mad, but man, we are thankful, man, that you guys rock with us the way we have. You know, B's extra busy. I'm running a business. I'm super busy, man. But we really appreciate when you guys come and some clicking the YouTube. Hey, when we put our stuff up and just rocking with us, giving us the comments and giving us some views. And we're excited about that. But if you've been with us this long, we're an hour long into it, man. If you've been with this long, man, hit the like button. Don't cost you nothing. It's free currency, man. It puts us on the algorithm. Gets a couple people out there to see who we are a little bit more. If you haven't subscribed, dadgummit, subscribe. Get us up. Hey, man, our goal for the season, man, is get up to 300 daggum people subscribe to us, man. Because we just yeah, huh?
Much.
Say what now? I didn't hear you. What'd you say, B?
I said that's not much.
Nah.
That's all
it's
we
not
ask
much,
for,
man. We don't. Just three. There's a 300, man. Just a 300, man. We gonna push for this other goal later, but 300 before the end of the year is great. And also, man, more importantly, we just ask that you share us, man. Share us with your buddies. Share with your friends, man. See if your friends can say, hey, I see what they're talking about. Hey, man, I don't totally agree, and leave a comment, man. It helps us out a lot, man. We really appreciate it, man. But as always, man, for every superhero, he's got to have a sidekick. So I am his sidekick, man. And that is my main man, BH, man. And we together are Frankly Football. And until next time, peace.